Hi everyone, it's Bev DeBono with Noteworthy Simple Page Kit number 5. So I wanted to show you the end result of Page Kit number 5, which is here. And I also want to talk a little bit about the Page Kits. These come out every month. They are a self-contained, quick and easy, very simple kit to put together. And if you get all 12 or complete all 12, you will actually have 24 pages already done for your photos in your album. Now, if you get the quarterly ones, they include these wonderful folders, which are great to then put I put my memorabilia in here. If you travel, you can put your travel memorabilia in here. Sometimes I'll put my pre-made pages by season or by month in these as well. So um, get a hold of your Creative Memories advisor. And if you don't have one, I'd love it if you would support me. My information is in the comment section of my channel here. And I just want to show you how we're going to do page kit number 5. We're going to take it apart and actually do it. But what I love about these page kits, and I'm going to show you this, the page kits come with directions. Okay, so they have papers and then you're able to cut them. And then I take them and I take the measurements that they have and I create other pages using this instruction sheet as a sketch. So I'll just show you an example here. This is page kit 5. This is the variation with page kit 5. Okay, and we're going to do another variation on this video as well. Okay, so the other thing I just wanted to show you is, and people always ask me, show me where you can put your photos on these things. So page kit 5, you can, on the right hand side, you can do 4 3.5 by 3.5s, or you can do 2 4x6s. You can do a 4x6 and 2 3.5 by 3.5s. You could actually have them overlapping, and they don't all have to stay self-contained in those colors either. So you could put you could overlap, and I think sometimes it gives a little interest. Now for this page, the other thing that you could do is actually have your pictures tilt off to the side, so you have a lot more of your mat showing. And I like this as a variation because it just sets it apart, and then you could, kind of follow it up with something on this page. So it does give it some fun. This is a 4x6. So it does give it a lot of, gives you some flexibility so that you're not limited to just putting pictures inside the mat, but you can certainly, move them. And as you see what I did up here for this smaller one, I didn't even have it touching the mat at the bottom. So I put a larger photo in a smaller mat. And you can certainly do that. So just think of these creations as base pages or something very tonal that you can go ahead and use over and over. And you see the same thing can be done with this one, just kind of tilted off to the side like that. Okay, and it really tones it down when you do something like that. Okay, so let's get started. I'm first going to create it with the actual page kit itself, and then I'll recreate it using a variation. Okay, so if you're doing a variation, you do need 2 base pages. Okay, and I'm going to be using solid white. So you need 2 base pages. You're going to need a matching paper that can go across the bottom. You're going to need 2 other papers that you can make a frame here and a banner here, and then another paper. So we're talking about 3 or 4 sheets of coordinating paper. Okay, and I'll give you these measurements as we go along. Okay, so page kit number 5, as you see, is already, the base is already laid out for us. So if you are doing a variation, you want your base, and then you want 2 strips here that are 4.5 inches, 4.5 by 12. Okay, let me just get my trimmer and we'll get started. Okay, so the third sheet on this simple kit usually has a couple different colors on it, but it's the back that's very important because it gives you the cutting guide here and how we're going to cut our papers so that we can maximize its use and use the others for mats. Okay, so I'm going to insert this in my trimmer. I'm going to put this first line here on my cut line. And your cut line is the line that has the number at the top of your mat. So don't know if you can see mine. This is number 1 on mine. And that is where I'm going to line up my paper to make sure that I'm cutting right on that cut line. Okay, now if you're not sure if you're exactly in the middle of that cut line, take your multi-purpose tool and go underneath the blue heading here and just pull out this little plastic guide. It's a very small little plastic guide that has a little black line on it. Okay, and then you can, that tells you, that little black line tells you exactly where the blade is going to cut. And there's one at the top, and there's also one down here on the bottom. So you can certainly line it up to see where it's going to cut. And I can see I need to just slide mine over just a little bit. Okay, and once you've got it on the line, I'm going to cut that big cut line first. Okay, and then I'm going to cut between 3 and 4. And so these are mats. These are measuring 4 by 6. This next one that I'm cutting is cut line 1, and it's going straight down here. Again, I'm going to double check my cut line, make sure I'm on my cut line. And then cut lines for 2, 5, and 6. These are measuring 3 by 4s, and this is a 2 by 4. And I'll go over all these measurements again with you as we create our variation. Okay, so you can see I've got all the pieces here. Piece number 2 has a little dotted line here so that we are going to be cutting that into a banner. All right, so you can just get your, I'm using my micro tip scissor. I'm going from one side to the next and just cutting on that dotted line. Okay, and now I have that banner. Okay, so with the simple kit, we are ready to assemble. This is how fast it really is. This sheet is going, the 8 by 8 is going right in the middle of this, of the base page. Okay, so this is 8 by 8. The outer edge is 9 by 9. And then on here, I am going to use the banner, and that is going to go up near the top. So you see how quickly these come together. And this is such a fantastic idea. Creative Memories is going to be expanding on this next year because this has been so successful. Okay, and we're just placing these just as it says on the instruction sheet here. I'm placing them exactly as it says on my instruction sheet. Okay, and now I'm going to tape it down. Oh, before I tape it down, I almost forgot, we have to add our border. And when I find the sticker strip from this collection, this one here, I'm using the border strip that comes with the collection, and that's going right at the 1-inch mark on the bottom of both pages, side to side. So when you create your variation, you can use this with a sticker, or I used it with a border maker cartridge. And then I'm also going to use it with a just a strip of paper. Okay, so that strip is going to go side to side at the 1-inch mark on the bottom of both of your pages. Okay, and we're ready to just tape the rest of it down, just as it says on our, oops, on our instruction sheet. How fast is that? I'm putting that this way. Okay, so now according to the directions, this was a Mother's Day one, so I am putting Mom up here, just right above the one mat. And it comes complete with this strip of stickers, which I love because, again, you don't have to think about what is going to go with anything because everything matches. Okay, and then I might put the big can and the little flowers. Put a little foam square under the sky. It's love with the picture with the flowers in it. Okay, and then I'm going to take the yellow heart sticker and I'm going to put it in the middle of the O for Mom, so that's what the upper edge looks like. Just really fast and easy way to decorate it. I'm going to put the words Happy Mother's Day on the top of the pink piece here, this magenta. And then I'm going to put another one of the stickers down here. Okay, and then on my other side, I am going to put that great truck. I'm putting the great truck for the garden, and I'm probably going to put the, let me see, what am I going to put in here? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this shrub with leaves behind it so it looks like you've got you're transporting your gardening things there. Okay, and that's going to go down on the bottom. Right, you can put the words gardening up at the top if you like. And then I'm just going to add a few more hearts. Okay, and see how fast that was. Oh my gosh. I am going to now use my brown marker and just make a couple of dots, my trademark dots here. And there you have it. That is Simple Page Kit number 5. So you can create pages in 10 minutes and they look like you've spent a lot more time on that. Okay, so let's recreate this using the same measurements. And to make this variation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Go Fetch. Now these are on last chance. So if you're looking for some dog paper, these are on last chance right now. Okay, so you need 2 base pages. Okay, and you need a color that's going to go across the bottom of both. Then you need a color that's going to be your big mat here in the middle, and that same color to go across on the other side as your big piece down the other side. Okay, and then you need an inner piece to go inside of your outside frame. All right, so let's take this in steps, and then you need papers to make mats and that kind of a thing. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is create our base. And the first part of the base is this banner that goes across the bottom. And that measures 4.5 by 12. So you need 2 of those. 4.5 by 12. Okay, so I am just going to line that up in my trimmer. It's 4.5 and 4.5 by 12. Okay, now I'm going to hold on to this because I might need this to make my little banner up at the top. So I'm definitely going to hold on to that. Okay, now this is going to get taped down at the 1-inch mark from the bottom. But before we do that, we are going to make a banner here on the right-hand side, which is what they had in Page Kit 5. There was a slight banner on that right-hand side. So to do that, we're going to take our paper that we're using for our strip, fold it to you. Okay, fold it to you so that you have it facing you. And I'm just going to take a scissors. Okay, just pinch it to about, 1 inch or so. Just pinch it to about 1 inch. And I'm taking my scissors and I'm going to start at the bottom where the openings are facing me. I'm going to start cutting from there to about the 1 inch that I pinched. Okay, and that makes your banner for that side. Okay, now we're ready to tape this down. And I'm using repositionable tape on this banner section so that I can get my tape all the way to the edges and make sure that it's not going to lift up once I put my other pieces down. Okay, now this is going to go 1 inch from the bottom. 1 inch from the bottom. And that's going to go right across, so you can see when you're using your 13 by 13 mat how easily things line up, and you're just going straight across. If your paper is straight, like mine right now is not exactly straight, so I got to make mine straight again. And then just go from 1 inch from the bottom, side to side. Okay, so that's our first cut. The next cut that we're going to do is we are going to do the big piece that goes in the middle here. and that measures 9 inches by 9 inches. Okay, so let's open our trimmer, and we're going to put our paper all the way to the 9-inch mark. 9-inch mark. And we're going to cut it on one side, turn it to the left, and again at the 9-inch mark, and now cut it on the other side. Okay, so we might need to use some of these, so let's put those to the side. Okay, and now we're going to do you have a 9 by 9, we're going to do a 1-inch hollow frame. A 1-inch hollow frame out of here. Okay, the 1-inch hollow frame is the easiest one to do because all we're doing is taking our paper and putting it at the 1-inch mark on the right-hand side. The right-hand side. Now we are making a hollow frame because we're going to be covering it, and I hate to waste all that paper. So we're making the 1-inch hollow frame, and then we'll be using the inside pieces to make mats. Okay, so we're not cutting all the way down or all the way through. We're going to start with the top of our housing, and this piece that moves is called your housing unit. Top of the housing goes to the top of the paper. You just line it up to the top of the paper. Okay, press it down and then end it. The bottom of the housing ends at the bottom of the paper. Okay, we're not cutting all the way through because the blade is positioned at 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, so line your paper up to the 1-inch mark on the right-hand side. Okay, top of the housing, top of the paper, press down. Bottom of the housing stops at the bottom of the paper. Turn it to the left. 1-inch mark. Top of your housing to the top of the paper. Bottom of the housing to the bottom of the paper. Turn to the left again. See, we are making a frame. We're not cutting all the way through. 1-inch mark, line it up. Go. Oops. Top of the housing, top of the paper, bottom of the housing, bottom of the paper, turn to the left, 1-inch mark, top of the housing, top of the paper, bottom of the housing, bottom of the paper. Okay, so now you have that base, and now you have this inside piece that you can make mats from. And this piece actually measures 7 by 7. So guess what? It makes 3.5 by 3.5 inch mats perfectly, and makes 4 of them that are going to fit on the inside of this on top of the other piece. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this into 3.5 by 3.5 inch square mats on 4 times because it is a 7-inch square. Okay, so 3.5. All right, and I'm just going to pop them one on top of the other and then cut that at 3.5. Okay, so we're going to need the other paper that goes in the middle with that. We're going to get that in a second. But before we do, we need another piece. I'm getting one that matches the frame we just cut to make that left side piece that anchors the left-hand side. And that piece measures 4.5. So guess what? These measurements continue to duplicate. So we had 4.5 for this piece coming down. We had 4.5 on the bottom left, 4.5 on the bottom right. All right, so let's just cut this at 4.5. Okay, there we go. All right, let's put I want to put this strip down on the left-hand side first, because then we have to add our accent piece across the bottom before we do anything else. Okay, so this is going to go at about the 1 inch mark. So again, you were repeating 1 inch mark on the side, and we had 1 inch marks on the bottom. So when you repeat things like that, they go, they really tend to um, make your page go fast, and just repeating the pattern gives it a lot of continuity. Okay, I'm going to make sure I'm lined up on my 13 by 13 mat, that my paper is totally centered, and that piece is going to go 1 inch at the bottom and all the way 1 inch at the top. Okay. All right, now before we do anything else, we want to add that strip that goes right at that 1 inch mark and anchors that bottom of the page. So on the actual page kit itself, we used a sticker strip. So you could use a sticker strip, or you could use, in this case, I used a border maker cartridge and punched that out and anchored that with the border maker cartridge. Okay. And I wanted to show you a third variation of that, and that was actually using a nice piece of paper. I wanted to use something that was decorative, and then I'm going to cut that at 1 inch by 12, and that's going to go across my bottom to anchor. Okay, but this just gave it some contrast, and I wanted to show you the 3 different options that you had as far as anchoring that bottom piece: a sticker strip, border maker cartridge, or using actual designer paper. Okay, so I'm going to cut that at the 1 inch mark. You could also cut it at 3/4, but 1/2 inch on paper I think is a little too small. Okay, so I'm going to do a 1 inch. Okay, you see it's going to bring in all my colors now. And another 1 inch. Okay, so before I go any further, I'm going to tape that down. And that is going to be my anchor on both of my sides. Okay, again, make sure that your paper is in from side to side. And I am putting that across the bottom. You can make it at about 1/2 inch from the bottom, or if you're using a very thin sticker strip, it can go exactly on that strip that you have. Okay, and it just anchors the bottom of it and kind of brings your some of the weight back down. Okay, so now this piece is going to go in the middle here. And now we need a piece that's going to go on the inside of that. So now I'm taking a tonal, and that's going to go on the inside. This happens to be the Go Fetch dog paper. So this is little tennis balls, tonal little tennis balls. Okay, and that gets cut to 8 by 8. 8 by 8. So let's open our trimmer, and we're going to put it at the 8-inch mark all the way to the top. We're going to cut it at the 8-inch mark. So hold on to these. So we're going to decide what we're going to do with mats. Okay, turn it again, and that's going to be at the 8-inch mark. Okay, and now we're ready to tape this section down. Or I'm just going to see what I want to do with my mats. Now the mats on the left-hand side, don't forget we have a little banner that goes up here. So I had extra piece of that tonal paper here. I'm going to cut a little banner. And if I wanted to do my mats, all the mats are measuring these are the measurements for the mats. 4 by 6, 2 times, 3 by 4, 2 times, and 2 by 4, 1 time for a banner. Okay, 4 by 6, 2 times, 3 by 4, 2 times, and 2 by 4, 1 time. Okay, so I actually had, these were already mats that were in a pack. Okay, and then I could see how I wanted that to go. So these are the 4 by 6s. This is the 3 by 4. The other one is a 3 by 4, which I'm going to end up cutting from one of these. Okay, so I'm going to cut a 3 by 4 out of one of these. So this already measures 4 inches, so I'm going to cut it at 3 inches. That was a piece that we already had. It's going down here. Maybe I don't like that one. And then I want a little piece for the banner that goes up at the top, and that is a 2 by 4. So again, this was already a 4-inch that I cut off the side there. I'm going to cut that at 2 inches. Okay, and the same way that we made our banner on the bottom here is how we're going to make our banner that's going to go at the top piece here. Okay, so I'm going to take these, I'm going to put it the long ways, fold it towards me, and now take that fold. I'm going to pinch it at about 1 inch and cut from the bottom corner into that inch. Okay, and now you have that, that banner. Okay. Oh, look at these. And then the pieces that we cut from the inside of that one can actually, if you want them, become part of your mats on the front of that. Okay. I'm not liking that color, this coloration here, so I might change it up just a little bit down there. Maybe I'll change that too. No, it's too yellow. I'll keep that. Yeah, I think I'm going to take these out. So just play with it until you find something that you like. It's, you know, 2 4 by 6s and 2 3 by 4s. So I'm actually just going to cut that one piece that I had left into a 4 by 6. I think that's going to work out better. Yes. Okay, so now you're ready to tape this down. And again, you don't have to tape it so straight if you don't want to. These can be moved around like that to make it kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to take this one down first. I'm going to put tape on the back of everything that goes on this side so that I can move quickly. And then I'm going to put tape on the back of my mats. And then I assemble this side. Okay, so this gets centered. Your hollow frame will get centered about, oh, again, we had that 1-inch marking here. I'm going to take the 1-inch marking down here on the left side because I don't want to cover up this banner that we made. Okay, and now this other piece is going to go in the middle of that. So this hollow frame method, if you've never tried it, is one that is amazing because you really do save a lot of paper. Okay, and these are my 3.5-inch squares that we cut out of the inside of that. Okay, and again, when you're putting your pictures on here, you don't have to keep them so squared on the mat. Okay, so they don't have to be, you know, so square on there. They can kind of go like this. And it gives a lot more interest to your page. Okay, we're going to add stickers to that in a little bit. I'm going to finish this other side. Right, so now we're going to add that little banner. And you might be saying, why do we have to have a banner on the left side? Well, remember the design concept, what we have on the left, we're going to try to do on the right. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it can certainly be a smaller version of it. And I think it just makes it, adds a lot of continuity here to your pages. I might angle, I'm going to keep those straight, just like the design had it. Flipping these all over so that I can put tape on them all at one time. Okay. So guess what? Where am I starting this one? Oh, what about an inch in, right? Because we're repeating that inch. This one's going to angle just like we did it on, just like it was in our original sketch. And this one's going to angle just like it was in the original sketch. Okay, awesome. That is your base for sketch number 5. And now I'm just going to go add some stickers. I'm going to put a little fun thing in the middle here, dog's rule. I might put some, oh, I'm going to put a little heart with another little heart up here just to bring that red up to there. Another little heart. And I'm going to put the dog down here at the bottom. Okay, and he's got his little pieces there. And then in this, that's going to become one of my title boxes. It's going to be Love My Dog. And then down here, it's going to say Part of the Family. Okay, so that is the variation that I created for page kit number 5. That's one of the variations. The other variation that I did was with secret box number 2. which was called Music to My Ears. And that is that variation. And then we have the original Page Kit number 5, which is this one. Tell me which one you like the best. I hope to see you again soon on one of my videos. Subscribe to my channel. I do post about a video every week. And as I said, if you're not currently working with a Creative Memories advisor, I'd appreciate it if you would support my business. If you're looking to join an advisor team, I also support a national team of advisors, and I'd be happy if you would join my team. And I hope to see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.